judge in Charleston.
Wow.
Yep. You have to look at his name, Martin R. Delaney. And he wrote many books too. One of the Origin of Race of Color.
You said Martin Delaney was a Pan-Africanist?
That's right.
A Pan-Africanist?
Yep.
Man, go to talking about a Pan-Africanist.
So he led an expedition along the Niger River. Around the time John Brown was going up north to try to get him to go to Harper's Ferry.
Yes, sir.
He said no because he already have a plan. He's part of the Immigration Society. And so he was trying to get us to move back to Africa.
That's
but
right.
When the war started, they decided to stay to deal with this problem here.
That's right.
The institution of slavery. Folks still went over, but they didn't like how folks was treated over there. Yeah, but a lot of folks looked up to us because once we earned our new foundation of freedom, we were owning business, owning land, but then hatred groups are organized. The Ku Klux Klan and the Red Shirts.
That's right.
Every time we built a town and was successful when it comes to business, they always destroy it.
That's right.
So we had to protect our community, but a lot of us also migrated to either here in Washington, Philly, Baltimore, Chicago, New York, Detroit, because the Jim Crow laws in the South, those Confederates were not happy with them losing to African Americans during the Civil War.
So Martin Delaney was basically he was a soldier that was more Pan-Africanist in his theology.
So he was an abolitionist.
Okay.
He recruited hundreds of African Americans into the Union Army, many in the 54th. And other regiments. Okay. His son volunteered. His name was Private Toussaint.
Okay.
Yeah. He was a explorer. He was a scholar, and he was also a medical doctor too.
Wow.
At Harvard.
Who taught you, please? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Americans out of Harvard. And he saved many lives in Pittsburgh when there was a pandemic. Folks were getting sick. And he treated everybody. He healed everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. He's one of the people that's forgotten in our history.
Martin Delaney. Mr. Martin Delaney. You gotta give honest.
To a guy named William Howard Day. That was his first buddy. He was also an abolitionist.
And you said something about the Howard University.
Yeah, named like the General Howard. His house is right there on the campus, right on Georgia Avenue. If you walk up Georgia Avenue on top of the hill, his house will be on the right-hand side.
Nice.
And then many African Americans and former generals will live in Leroy Park. Wow. Yeah, Christian Fleetwood, which he was the sergeant major of the 4th Color Infantry. He's also interested too, Christian Fleetwood. He was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. When the white officers were down, the colored sergeants would take charge of the battalion and they continue on mission. We made the best soldiers in the United States Army.
Wow.
Still today. Yeah, but he was one of the 14 African Americans awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Yep, he led the 4th Color Infantry out of Baltimore.
Nice.
And then lived in this community right after the war. Another soldier, Nicholas Sahib Mohammed from Nigeria. He was a Muslim. His father was a general in the campaigns in Sudan, but the North African Barbers captured Nicholas, the son of the general, and enslaved him in Mecca and Saudi Arabia. By the time he ended up in Russia, he was free, and he was escorted in Germany. He spoke Russian. He was in France. He spoke French. He also was in England. He spoke English, and he was in the Caribbean and in Canada. And at the time he came to the U.S., he's a school teacher. He was speaking more than one language, and then he volunteered in 55th Massachusetts. Right.
Today you are coming out of college. You're coming out of the leading universities. You're trying to go in a good direction, but you don't know which direction to go in. And if somebody tries to take you right to the root of your problem, they say that that man's a hate teacher. If I ask why should the senators in Washington, and then again if we tell you that Negroes are being hung on the tree or being shot down illegally, unjustly, and those Negroes should do something to protect themselves, you say you're advocating violence. The white man is tricking you. He's trapping you. He doesn't call it violence when he lands troops in South Vietnam. He doesn't call it violence when he lands troops in Berlin. When the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, he didn't say get nonviolent. He said praise the Lord, but pass the ammunition. But when someone attacks you, when someone comes at you with a club, when someone comes at you with a rope, when someone comes at you with a gun, despite the fact that you've done nothing, he tells you, suffer peacefully. Pray for those who use you despitefully. Be long-suffering. And how long can you suffer after suffering for 400 years? So I just want to clear up that little point right there, because he says that we play on your emotions. And when you turn on your television tonight, or your radio, or read the newspaper, they're going to tell you in that paper that I was playing on your emotions. Imagine you, a second-class citizen. That's not getting emotional, it's getting intelligent.
Yeah, another soldier.
That's right.
William Carney. William Carney was in the 54th. He was a sergeant color bearer. This guy was wounded multiple times, shot, blood running down his body, and he still wanted to fight. They had to drag him off the battlefield. But he survived. He was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, but he didn't receive his medal until like the 1900s.
That's right, brother. That's right, brother.
Named after him.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Now, the first African-American war hero is Captain Andre Caillou. Captain Andre Caillou was formerly enslaved in Louisiana, and once he was free, he owned a tobacco farm. When he was educated in Paris, France, and then he comes back, he said he was the blackest man in New Orleans. And then Louisiana Native Guard was actually muscle to the United States service by Benjamin Butler. He didn't want African-Americans to be used against the United States. So what he did was muscle to the service and commissioned 75 color officers, Creoles. They can speak Spanish, French, and English. In 1863, May 24th, he led 2 regiments in the battle called Port Hudson. In Port Hudson, so there were many generals in the battle that witnessed seeing these color soldiers in action. And Andre Caillou, he gave the command in charge, and he spoke in Spanish, French, and English. And he was shot. He was killed naturally. But he was sort of the first African-American war hero of the Civil War.
So now I want to know something about the purpose, because we lost a lot of black men on the battlefield. So what do you think? What most of us was fighting for? Because we know that the political, from what I've researched, the political aspect of the Civil War was mostly to almost evolve slavery. Because the North didn't really, what did Abraham Lincoln say? He said if he can keep and maintain slavery, then he would. But he was going through a political jargon or push. Maybe you can explain a little deeper. But they was going through a fight amongst the so-called white man. But we know that we had our own intentions with this war. So could you give a little insight on what the black man What was we really fighting for ourselves? What was the purpose of the black man's struggle in the Civil War?
So we were fighting for liberation. So we fought for a different cause.
Right on.
Yeah, so we was fighting to save the Union, but we was fighting for our own freedom.
That's right.
We freed ourselves. The Union was losing 2 years of the war, and Abraham Lincoln would do anything in his power to win. And Frederick Douglass said, the only way you're going to win this war is giving us opportunity to fight for our own freedom. See, a lot of the white folks, they were like, I'm not fighting for darkness, but you're not fighting to free us. You're fighting to preserve the Union. We're fighting for our own freedom.
That's right.
So when he issued out the proclamation, that just made a league of us to a list. It was not designed to free everybody. And the proclamation applied to all 10 states in rebellion. And no slaveholders freed their slaves because President Lincoln is not their president. Jefferson Davis is their president. So the court of the soldiers, we had to force the law. And the purpose when they occupied a city or town in the South, they're recruiting numbers of African Americans. The idea is turn us against the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh's a slave master.
That's
not
right.
master, because God's your master. He's an evil captive. So once he turned us against the master, because we outnumber the folks in the South,
correct,
that pretty much collapsed the whole Confederacy.
Definitely.
A lot of people that look like us had to stay in the Confederacy line just to get intel to share to those Union commanders. We were sabotaging Confederate supplies. This was literally the war that we freed ourselves. This is the war that we won.
That's right.
And that's why they did not mention it later, because this country was ashamed. They had to call out help is to save the Union. And but by us winning the war, the 13th Amendment had passed. Slavery is now abolished in the United States, but there's different concepts of slavery.
That's facts.
Because the prison system is also another form of slavery.
Man, go into that.
The 14th Amendment, we fought to be citizens because we were not citizens. This country called for folks that were not citizens of the United States, but now we fought to be citizens, and they also opened the doors for other folks too.
That's right.
So if it wasn't for us, other folks wouldn't be here.
Correct.
And then the 15th Amendment, we earned the right to vote. And this is our country. Well, as this, we can't have a German saying this is not your country.
Right.
Yeah, this is
European
your country.
saying, you can't say this is not our country.
Right.
Like, where you from? No, where you from?
Yeah.
Where's your home? No, where your home?
You would hear racist folks say go back to Africa,
brother.
but the point is that there were Africans in Americas long before Europe.
That's right.
And we built this nation.
Yes.
If it wasn't for the Africans, it wouldn't be America. It wouldn't be the United States.
Exactly.
And then out of these names, we did find folks from the Caribbean, from the West Indies, Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados. There are 1,500 Hispanics on the wall, Hawaiians. So there were other folks that were non-white that was in the U.S. color troops that also fought. So you can use this story as an example that we can work together.
Yes.
Yeah, people of color. And there's 7,000 white officers. Some of them were abolitionists before the war.
Right. I saw that online today. I know like 215,000 black, something like that.
200,000.
200,000.
And 7,000 white officers.
Right, I saw that earlier today.
Yeah, in fact, the first officer candidate school was a school looking for white officers to lead the colored soldiers. But a lot of times it was the colored sergeants that took charge of the battalion.
Like the first sergeant.
Right. The first sergeant. Right. And the sergeant majors.
Sergeant major. Exactly.
At that time, you had the first sergeant, second sergeant, third, fourth, and fifth sergeant.
Right.
Yeah, so each sergeant, there should have supervised, but the first sergeant, he's the head sergeant of the company. And the sergeant major is the sergeant major of the whole regiment. He's the highest non-commissioned officer within the regiment.
That's right. That's strong,
each
brother.
Each regiment has a sergeant major.
Strong, man.
Right. So just tell me about, walk back around this way. I will look at the front of the monument. You can tell me who you are, since you gave us all that info.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Today is May 15th, 2010. The time is now about 7:47 in the evening.
I just need to get my story out.
And you are Mr. Khalif Browder, is that correct?
Yes. I was going home from a party.
911 operator 1719, where's emergency?
Two male black guys, they took my brother book bag.
There was a guy saying that I robbed him. They said, we're gonna take you to the precinct.
Did you rob somebody in the beginning part of May, Mr.
No.
Browder?
No.
The time is now 10 to 8. This interview is concluded.
They said most likely we're gonna let you go home.
One of the most violent jails in the country.
All right. Look what he's doing. Stop resisting.
But then
What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
I never went home.
Khalif is my son. I know what he went through. I went through a lot with him.
I felt like I was done wrong. I felt like something needed to be done about this. If I just say that I did it, nothing's gonna be done about it. I didn't do it, no justice is served, nobody hears nothing at all. I had to fight. You want me to walk away like it's okay? It's not okay. I lost my childhood. I lost my happiness.
They've destroyed my life, my family's life.
911 emergency. Ma'am?
This is supposed to be the greatest city in the world. And we're supposed to trust in this justice system. Where's the justice?
The controlled press, the white press, inflames the white public against Negroes. The police are able to use it to paint the Negro community as a criminal element. The police are able to use the press to make the white public think that 90% or 99% of the Negroes in the Negro community are criminals. And once the white public is convinced that most of the Negro community is a criminal element, then this automatically paves the way for the police to move into the Negro community, exercising Gestapo tactics, stopping any black man who is on the sidewalk, whether he is guilty or whether he is innocent, whether he is well-dressed or whether he is poorly dressed, whether he is educated or whether he is dumb, whether he's a Christian or whether he's a Muslim. As long as he is black and a member of the Negro community, the white public thinks that the white policeman is justified in going in there and trampling on that man's civil rights and on that man's human rights. Once the police have convinced the white public that the so-called Negro community is a criminal element, they can go in and question, brutalize, murder unarmed, innocent Negroes, and the white public is gullible enough to back them up.